I had money, been broke. I've been high, I've been low. I done pimped it, been hoe. I done prayed and been prayed on. I fell off and I stayed on. I've been played, but I play on. There ain't shit I can't take on.
Transitioning from that world of just black and white thinking, and thinking that I can only kind of do one thing, or that there has to be one, that like, if I do that, then I can't pursue anything else. That I can't have hobbies. Or that I can't do this. You know, like it makes you think that like, it makes. I should admit something. For me personally, it's like, if I do that, then I'll have to drop everything else I've built, and that's not true. It's that's just me trying to sabotage myself.
Can I say what I said to you when you told me on Monday? And I was just like, imagine what this podcast would have looked like if you went back to school so much earlier.
Yeah, and you're not wrong. Yeah, exactly.
But now we're there, and I'm like happy that for you that you've like kind of made that decision to at least give it that effort to go find and figure out, is this what I should be doing? Like, is this what I really want? Because like, from the outside looking in and knowing you, like, I know that's something you've always very much enjoyed. Like, you've always been passionate about movies and like you know more about directors than anybody else I know.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's true.
You know what
it's
I mean?
It's my fucking autistic fact.
Yeah,
I'm autistic about movies. Like, and I've like ignored a lot of that. And like I said, it doesn't mean that comedy or this podcast or other things can't be part of kind of like what makes me feel purposeful. And you and I kind of talked about, like, I'm 32 years old, and looking at it as more of an advantage for me. I don't have any other choice but then to look at it as, no, like, me coming to this conclusion later in my life is an advantage for me in terms of getting back into that, versus looking at it like I'm different from everybody, so it won't work out. Mm-hmm. It's totally something that I'll have to work on patience with, because it's like I said, it's not like it's something that I can just send something to tomorrow and I'll have an answer back and that'll make me feel better. Mm-hmm. It's kind of going to be an all-around thing that's probably going to be harder than I think.
Well, it's worth it then.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, then, yeah, part of it is being like that none of this stuff is...
Yeah.
Anything that's worth having isn't going to be easy. And a lot of it just feels like a lot at one time. But it's like you figure it out. Even now, like I said, like right now I feel like I'm resisting. That's okay. Bro. No, that's okay. It's my ego.
Yeah. See? And once you notice it, then like it makes it easier.
It's not that I feel like I don't notice it. I just don't feel like I'm very good at fighting back sometimes.
Oh. See? That's why you got to do something.
You're right.
Hard.
No, you're right.
You're doing something hard right now, though. Like...
Talking about this? Absolutely. Like, I fucking hate this.
Yeah, I know you do. I know. This is the point of this podcast, though.
But it's like the only way out is through.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I know that's the first step, and I'm proud of you for realizing that.
That's the thing. Like, and like, part of it is knowing full well that, like, you know, it might be next week or it might be next month or next year where, like, I have another point where I feel like this, but hopefully I'll be further in and I'll know. You know, where I have that feeling of like everything is fucked. You know.
Shout out to the beginning of sobriety, because this is where JP's at, and I've also been there, and I'm sure everybody else that's ever gotten sober like us has. The first couple months really fucking suck, because you got a lot of time in your own head, and you're not going out, and you don't have like those external things to kind of push down thoughts, like. But this is good that you're here and you're like getting through it, and like you're starting to figure it out, and other things will fall into place, and you'll be more aware of it now because like you're in the moment.
I guess I'm just kind of like learning to be better at those battles with myself. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's easier and sometimes it's harder, and but I think some of it is just like, you know how much of a stickler I am about like people just being honest. Mm-hmm. In general, when it comes to anything. And I think a lot of it is just like getting sober, but I just kind of think everything that's been going on in my life has forced me to be more honest with myself, and not, like I said, like shy away from the challenge. Like, this isn't supposed to be easy. Mm-hmm. Like, some of it's fun, some of it's good, but like anything worth doing or pursuing or of kind of like helping people or just like I said, being creative it's not going to be perfectly fun sitting on the beach all the time, right?
Yeah. Yeah, man. And you also have to live life to experience it and then learn from those mistakes and what happened to you.
Well, that's why I say, like, I don't have any other choice but to kind of view the experiences that I have as an advantage versus letting them hold me back any further.
One of the things that I do is just try and realize that, like, this is only temporary. You know, like, when you get into that cycle, if you're going to, like, allow it to happen. I've had, like, a lot of emotions come up that I try and deal with now, and it's, like, very complicated sometimes, but I also, and, like, I just jump to those old forced habits and those old reactions, and sometimes, like, I'm in that reaction, and then I realize that it's happening, but I feel like it's progress, like.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things that I feel like you taught me, which is that you're not going to learn anything about it, and you're not going to get anywhere by not facing it.
Yeah.
Whether it's big or it's small or it was a long time ago or it was last week, like, and everybody has their own way of dealing with that and having patience with that. You know it's going to be there, and whether it's in different forms.
It's, bro, you know what
but
it
you
is?
face it, yeah.
Like, what is, like, it's like the AA handbook, bro. Like, the 12 steps that they have in it. It's like I think it's like 7 or something like that. It's like it's like redeeming, like, things. And, like, it's stuff that you know you're going to have to work on, like, even, like, when you're on step 1, like, you know it's down the road, so you're worried about it.
It's like preparing for the fact that you're a human and you're going to make a mistake.
Yeah, and you have to, like, kind of just, like, it's okay. Like, you can talk about it and work through it that way, but, like, you have to approach it and face it head on. Otherwise, it's just always going to be more of the same because you can't break that cycle.
Yeah. It's just like knowing you're going to get, I know I'm going to get angry with myself. I think that personally sometimes I want that. And we talked about this in the last episode with mushrooms. Is like you want that kind of like big bang moment where it's just like, oh, everything changed for me and now I'm different. But like knowing that you're kind of like you're working against like thinking patterns and habits that you've allowed to take up space in there, that maybe you can identify some of them, but I know that like I'm not all the way there in terms of catching my thoughts and being present. It's not all gonna happen at once, and it's like being it's like a balance of being hard on yourself and also not being like giving yourself some grace to like how do you manage to like forgive yourself for the time that you've wasted, plus also then be strict with yourself moving forward that like I can't keep doing this,
I think it would help to not look at it as time wasted. Like,
no, I know.
I feel like we're having a very, very productive conversation.
No, we are. This is what we set out to do. This feels like I feel like I'm working through shit right now. It's even in noticing in the like way you talk about things. Like how I said that like time wasted when I easily could have used the term, but I was like, oh, when I was like not focused. There's 100 other ways to phrase that. That's not saying like, oh, I wasted this time, because little things in your brain that you realize you're like, oh, like I go here and then I jump to this thing, but I'm like, what's in between that?
Plucking the weeds, bro. That's why every single page on this book looks exactly the same, bro.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. Isn't that crazy?
They do, yeah, they do.
Because, like, it's just, like, that's the only habit.
Yeah.
That's really going to get in there is just affirmations. Like, if you really want to change the way that you're talking about things in life, you have to, like, I write stuff down and I put them on Post-it notes. Like, you've seen my room, bro.
I have a business idea about this. Remind me about this after the podcast.
Okay.
But continue.
Yeah, but, like, you've seen my room. There's Post-it notes everywhere of just, like, things that I had to say to myself every day, especially in January when I moved home. And it was, like, I knew it was time to buck up, like... I can't just be sitting around glooming over like everything that had just gone wrong when I had already been like 500 something days into like meditation and like 300 days sober, like almost a year. Like I had to just keep fucking doing what I was doing, and like those were the things that got me through. Like those Wayne Dyer quotes all over the room, or just like stuff from like the Tao, like just a reminder, because like that shit's been around for forever, you know. So like if they're writing about it and it's been working for other people, like why can't it work for me? You know what I mean? Like it's just reprogramming your mind, and I had read so much about that. I feel like I'll give you some Deepak Chopra books. We need to get back into switching books around on this podcast, because I think it helped a lot before at the beginning. And I feel like he puts it, because you are very intelligent. Like he puts
Thanks, dude.
No, you are.
I make jokes about poo poo and pee pee.
No, but like,
thank you. No, I know that was sincere. Thank you.
But like, I think he would phrase it in a way that would resonate with you. Like
that's one of the things I said to you. I was like, that I haven't been reading like really at all lately over the last couple of months. Like I've been
every single day, every single day.
I ordered a few books at Amazon too. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think those are two of the biggest things. Like, it's great that you journal. You already like to write. Like, when you wake up in the morning, write down some 10 affirmations, and then write in your journal. Just add it to that habit. You know about stacking them. Like, it's the thing. It's just from Atomic Habits. We're just going to talk about books for the rest of the podcast today.
Yeah. No, I think I know it was like a pack of them, but one of the ones I got was that book that's The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Okay. I feel like that came up like when I logged into my Amazon, and I was like, I feel like I could probably use this book. Knowing that those things get me out of my head, and kind of like catching myself in that moment and getting out of it, versus like being so it's almost like I'm being stubborn about my depression. Like, I want to keep this.
Yeah,
I want it so bad.
I do it. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, if I don't go for a run in the morning, like, that's what I do.
I'm hanging on to it.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm a little... Yeah. It's your ego, bro. It's ego just, like, grasping on to just being like, I'm going to control... I'm seizing the day right now.
I'm seizing the day by making you stay in bed, you fucking scumbag.
Yeah.
That's what the voice in my head sounds like sometimes. Like,
yeah, no, I know. I get it, bro. Like, I, like, literally I was laying in bed this morning, and I was looking at Desiree, and I was like, I don't want to get up. I just want to like lay here, and like I'm cool. She doesn't have to leave yet. Like, just wait. And then I was like, nah, that's not what you want. I was like, get up, go. I was like, just go for this run right now. Like, start your day. And like that's what it's about, because like my day is in a way better spot, and like I can lift her up if she's having a bad day. You know what I mean? Because like I'm in a better spot to start the day.
I think that being sober helps with that battle, but I think a lot of times I had the excuse of just like, oh no, I'm hungover, that's why I'm down, and I was like okay with that.
And now you don't have that, and you're like, well, now I'm just
I mean, like, obviously you would know, that like,
hell yeah, bro. I used to wake up at 12:30 and
be
like,
you're okay with the excuse of like, oh, I feel like shit today because I drank last night. The only way to describe it is a crutch. It's like a crutch for me to say to myself like, oh, I'm okay with my life not being where it is, because like I'm doing this thing that's fun, and maybe it's holding me back a little bit, but I can't tell day to day. And it's like my life isn't a complete mess. I think that when you make changes like that, sometimes I have that expectation of, oh, it's gonna just, everything else is gonna fall into place, and that's really not the way it works.
Yeah, no, it was day by day.
Yeah, and I used to be a lot more like, I guess, maybe determined is the right word. Or
it's before you had trauma.
Focused, or I mean, I had trauma, but that wasn't affecting that. I think that I was dealing with my trauma by putting a lot of stuff into like my career, and I was taking into that was going to fix everything. That came crashing down, and then I had to deal with all these other things and couldn't balance both. Different whack-a-moles are coming up.
The shit is there's like little holes starting in the boat, and you're like, fuck, I can plug these with my fingers, they're close enough, and then there's one on the wall.
I could really use that guy who plugs up the tank right now with that plumber's tape. that to me, like what we've been talking about in terms of like school and career, is a big step, but it's like it can be in smaller steps too. I think that like
absolutely,
by doing something like that, and then little things I think become easier, because it's like, oh, in the back of my mind I have this thing that that I'm feeding
now.
It doesn't necessarily even have to be on like a daily basis, but on a regular basis, that I'm working towards this, and this is the goal, and the goal is within my control. I was talking about that podcast. It was Jay Shetty and Ryan Holiday, and they were talking about how like setting goals is good, but you shouldn't be setting goals that are out of your control. And that it's like it's hard to like be like, oh, well, I want to win an Emmy as a director, but that's not in my control. But like what goal do I have in control of right now? I have control over the fact of like I can apply to schools and see what happens.
Set the bar a little bit low. I think you could set the bar higher.
No,
you could win an Emmy as a director.
I totally understand what you're saying, but I think what's important for me right now
is
the stuff that is like, what can I do? What, like, I can't control what anybody else is doing or how anybody else is going to feel about what I'm doing. To me right now, that seems like as simple as going after that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it doesn't have to be like, oh, I need to be this successful by this point, or I need to make X amount of dollars by this point, or whatever. It's just like you have control over the fact that you can go out there and try. And I think for me, in terms of like where I've been over the last like over that time of trying to figure that out over the last couple of years, is like that's a big enough thing as it is. Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like that's and I'm okay with that. That's scary enough for me right now. Like, and it's not saying that I'm not thinking like, oh, I couldn't win an award, or that things couldn't be, or that whatever. But it's like, worry about what you can control today and in the near future or whatever. And if it's in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing, you won't have to like you won't have to be like scratching the universe for signs that you're doing the right thing.
You heard it here first. Check in around episode 673. JP is going to have an Emmy. We got a long way to go. We got a long way to go, right?
Yeah.
That'd be crazy if it's right, though.
That is within our control. Yeah, that's not. Yeah. And
673.
No, but I'm lucky because like there's no way I'd be here, like, figuring this out without you.
Well, I got you.
And you helped. That was the weird when you did the first one.
Got turkey.
But it's true, and like that. It's funny because this conversation started with like, just fucking text me back when you don't feel like it, piece of shit. Like, you're right, and like I said, I think I'm lucky because I have friends who keep me accountable and who care about that, and like I said, I'm lucky enough to have people who support me, and I'm grateful for that, and I shouldn't feel guilty about having that.
No.
Right? Like, no. And it's tough to.
Some people don't have that. Some people have.
Yeah.
You know.
And I know, and like I'm being entirely serious. It's just like I like in those moments, like some gratitude would probably do me some fucking good.
Yeah, man.
Like it's not.
Write it on the wall.
Yeah.
I want to feel good.
Yeah.
Wayne Dyer told me that, man, and I wrote that on the wall, and I woke up to that every day, and it was like one of the things I read every morning. I want to feel good.
And challenges are going to come. Mistakes are going to be made. I don't think any of us is 100% perfect, but like that is a good point. Like ultimately, like depression is tough, anxiety is tough, but if deep down you don't want to feel better, it's not going to get any better.
Yeah.
And that sucks.
Yeah. Like, it sucks because you do have to reach that point where you do want to feel better. But you have to want,
like you said, I have to want to feel that just as bad as I want anything else, just as bad as I want to win an Emmy.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's fucking go.
You know, like, but you have, you know, and I said we have all these conversations about what's a real job, what's not, like what's.
This is about to be my job.
Yeah, exactly. And it
And I work at Elixir. I make matcha now. Career jump. That was crazy this week. I didn't even get to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
I was so nervous going in.
I saw you in there.
Yeah. I had a long day that day. I made a lot of drinks.
Yeah. But I felt like what I relied upon a lot was that just like, oh, like an amazing opportunity is just gonna come out of nowhere. And then I'll know that that's when it's right to jump back or to pursue something else or whatever.
You gotta go make your opportunities, bro.
Exactly.
I quit my job to start a podcast. I had to go make my opportunity.
Yeah, no, and you're right, and it's like, and that you made a good point. Like it's getting you almost like you feel dumb. Like I know that part of why like I felt so horrible on Tuesday was because after what we talked about on Monday, I was just being like, "You're so dumb that it took you so long to figure this out."
Oh, bro, I didn't mean to do that.
No, I don't mean that you did it. I don't mean that you did that to me.
Yeah.
I meant that like that was my like the voice in my head that was just like you've had this inkling, like, because then it's just like it comes out and you're like, oh, in the back of my mind maybe it was always there, or something around that was always kind of like feeding me and you just weren't listening. And then it's like it's so easy to turn something that's like, oh, this realization or this helpfulness that you realized, and then turn it in for me to turn it around into something negative.
Yeah. At the end of the day, guys, life is going to turn out the exact way it was supposed to.
Yeah.
Like when you entered the universe to when you leave the
Yeah,
universe. Like,
and part of it, it's just like
so
facing
it's all going to happen the way it's supposed to happen, you know? And like this is the way it had to happen for you. It's better to realize that than to sit there and be like, why did it take me so long to get to this point?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, because then you're just like digging yourself into a hole, being stubborn about it. Like, I like your thing of like I want to feel good, but
That's
like I think I might alter it a little bit and be like, I have the choice to feel good.
Whatever you got to put down,
whatever you got to put it, man.
I would love to come record next week and just see this place littered in Post-it notes. Just Eleanor's got them all over her.
And we'll put a Post-it note on her harness.
I will be a good dog.
Yeah, I mean, I should probably just start by putting some up around my room, hiding it.
The last one.
I release control and trust the universe.
Yeah, man.
That's good. That's solid. I feel like I needed this today.
Yeah, I'm glad we did this.
I've got my first paid stand-up comedy gig tonight, brother.
Yeah, this dude's getting paid to do comedy.
This will be out after, but in Rhinebeck tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude's getting paid to do stand-up.
I'm very excited. It's the first thing I've done that's not an open mic.
Sick. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun. But that's why I feel like I needed to talk. I needed to get some
stuff done off your chest today.
Yeah, and I feel like just like this whole week has just been like very emotionally exhausting.
Well, I'm glad we talked. I'm glad I told you what was on my mind when I was pondering at like around minute 7, because I wasn't gonna say it at first. Like when you were like, "You've been pondering for a long time."
Oh yeah.
Nah, bro, text
I knew
me
what
back.
was coming. I knew what was coming. Yeah, no, it's true. It's true. Ultimately, like I know if I was on the other end of that, like I would have felt better if you were like, hey, like I could, I just need some space, dude. Like,
yeah,
I'm not in the headspace or whatever. And like you said, that ultimately is just like, a few episodes ago we were talking about communication, and it's like you gotta,
there you go, communicate.
You gotta. Not that saying that's like I said, I still stand by the fact of that, like, if a day goes by where I don't text somebody, that doesn't mean I don't give a shit. But it also is like the fact of like people. I'm lucky enough to have people who give a shit. And like I said, if there's other stuff on the line and there's more things, like it doesn't take as much effort as you're convincing in your head.
It would have been one thing if I knew you were like doing a bunch of stuff, but at the same time, I was also like, he's definitely wallowing right now.
Hey yo, Mr. Wallow. And you're not wrong. You're not wrong whatsoever, dude. No, I'm just saying that I feel like I shouldn't be giving anybody advice about this.
Nah, dude. Like,
it's like
just talking.
Everybody feels this way, I think, at some point. So.
I don't think what we do here is give advice so much as to it just be like, yo, this is my experience and this is your experience, and if there's any takeaways and it helps you, then Godspeed, brother. But like, if it doesn't, like, this is for us talking, you know. All right, well,
this has been fun.
Say that with less enthusiasm.
It's been a little fun.
Yeah,
it's been slightly fun.
Well, this is episode 37 of Who Thought We'd Be Here.
Yeah, this episode's gonna be long. We might break this into 2 parts.
We could if we want. The first part's kind of just me being like, bro, you didn't call me. And then we got into it. So, we'll figure it out.
Hey,
bro, you didn't call me is the name of the episode.
Bro left me undelivered, though? Really? First of all, how dare you?
Am I your sponsor?
Huh? This week, for sure, dude. The last like, month? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah. If you're still listening and you want to get the free first month of Whoop and a free band and track your fitness journey or your wellness journey or just sleep or whatever you want to track, whatever you're trying to get better at, I'm sure this thing can help you with it.
He's not wrong. Mm-hmm.
We have a link in our bio that'll bring you right to
I've been depressed, but I've been getting the best sleep of my life.
Yeah.
I really have.
Yeah, I know. I see it because if you join Whoop with our link, we'll send you the invitation to join our Whoop team.
You can be like, I slept better than you last night, bro. Aha.
Yeah, no.
Get to bed early, stupid.
Yep. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or if this conversation really hit home for you and you saw what JP was going through and you also think that you could go to therapy, we have an online
or just
therapy.
start a podcast with your best friend. That'll probably do the trick.
Yeah, we have a link for that too. Buzzsprout. They'll give you $20 off your first month. So
it's a good ad.
Just a bunch of affiliates here at the end. She's like, stop doing advertisements.
Pursue your passion. It's not about the money.
We have good conversations when the dog falls asleep.
All that glitters and gold. I had money, been broke. I've been high, been low. I done picked it, been whole. I done prayed and been prayed on. I fell off and I stayed on. I've been played, but I play on.